Good evening, folks. Happy Sunday. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's discuss the race for District 15 between Mark Fang and Ruth Walter, and how will that impact James Nolan? Also, Corazon announces she is running for mayor.
Freddy wins.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, two more candidates make announcements. On Friday, Mark Fang announced his intent to run for County Legislative District 15, and Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac announces she is running for mayor. Like the white? Good evening, folks. Happy Sunday. I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I wanted to talk about the recent announcements made by Corazon Pineda Isaac and Mark Fang, who will be running for County Legislative District 15. Corazon announced her intentions to run for mayor, city of Yonkers. Something we all knew, right? I think I've mentioned it. People were talking about it already, but she made it official over at Silvio's. But first, let's talk about the race for County Legislative District 15. 3 days ago, head of the Yonkers Human Rights Commission, Mark Fang, and Democrat Mark Fang, announced his intentions to run against James Nolan if he were to win the primary against Ruth Walter for District 15 County Legislative. That makes two Yonkers legislators being challenged. The other is Christopher Johnson, who is being challenged by Shanae Williams, the councilwoman for District 1. What about David Tubiolo? Is anyone challenging David Tubiolo? Right, is also a legislator here in the city of Yonkers, but represents other cities as well as Mount Vernon. But will he go unchallenged? I'm not sure if anyone's announced their intentions to run there. But that's something that's interesting that, no one's challenging him. Does it have something to do with Justin Tubiolo, his dad and former GOP loyal to Spano loyalist on the GOP? Justin has stayed actively quiet, at least publicly, in regards to Mike Breen's blatant display of party disloyalty. Many Republicans wonder how can he show his face at GOP events. Mike Breen has been going to, the events, even though he's blatantly betrayed his party. Yes, Julio Tata, he's running against David Tubiolo. Is he a Republican or is he challenging him in the primary? Let me know. Right. Anyway, Tubiolo and Breen are Spano loyalists, and it makes me think that both would know that Nolan was going to be challenged. And the reason why this is important is because it seems like there's a plan being put into action by, some say the Spano administration, along with Zahi Jeris, to take over the Westchester County Democratic Party. So they are running people like Shanae Williams, running Mark Fang, and hopes to get them in there into the county legislators and begin positioning people to take over and take a hold of the county. That's what some people are saying. As you know, Mike Spano has toyed with the idea of running for county executive, although people say he can't do that just yet. He's not really liked in the county, and Ken Jenkins is going to be running, I believe. So, they don't think he could beat Jenkins at all. They don't think he can win any race outside of the county, at least not now. At least not now. Maybe in 4 years after running or after serving another term for, here mayor. Anyway, essentially, they may have gotten what they wanted out of Nolan, which is why I think they're running Mark Fang. And that was to remove Ruth Walter and get the Nolans, the entire family, to support the fourth term. And, I saw the Nolans at the term extension meetings. They were holding up the 4 more years sign. And I thought they were strange because I said, aren't they Republicans, and Democrat, Mike Spano is a Democrat, but, they have to support Mike Spano, according to sources that have reached out to me. They said that Mike Spano hooked James Nolan up with a patronage job over at DPW once he won and became the county legislator, taking out Ruth Walters, which is what they wanted, right? Zahi Jeris, the guy from Precision Strategies, just disliked Ruth Walter for whatever reason, and they try to put a smear campaign out there calling her racist and all that stuff during the election. Ultimately, the Spanos may have a plan to slowly position themselves to take control of the county. Mike Spano currently has no chance, but maybe in another 4 years for executive, county executive, right? But they need to make the necessary moves now. They need to position certain people into different seats as they slowly take over the county Democrats. How true that may be is uncertain, but we saw Spano toy again, as I said, with the idea of running for county legislator. And in fact, the fact that they are running Shanae against Christopher Johnson and Mark Fang against one of their own, as I say, James Nolan, suggests that they have a plan in place right there. James Nolan, as many people say, was supported by the Spanos and Zahi Jeris, and that is how he was able to take the seat from Ruth Walter. Okay, so Julio Tata is a Republican. Cool, right? Who knows? Maybe it won't be Mike Spano Sr., but maybe Junior might run for county executive later on down the line, right? Who knows, right? He may throw his hat in the ring for county executive. What do the people have to say about that, right? The 15th district consists of Mount Vernon, Eastchester, Bronxville, and of course, Yonkers. Fang is a Democrat and a Democratic district leader, and currently it's at the heads of the Westchester Consumer Protection Department, which from people that I know in the community has been accused of shaking down bodegas and shops, the ones that sell the THC, right? So they say they're allowed to sell the illegal products if they pay consumer protection. Just a side note there, something that I heard. But they say that Mark Fang currently heads the Westchester County Consumer Protection. I'm not sure if that's true, but I know he also was head of the county, of the city Human Rights Commission, which I will show you here. And I want to go over some of the Yonkers Tribune, what they said about Mark Fang also really quick. What else real quick before I get into that article? Anyway, I say details about Mark Fang, man. No. Anyway, let me go to the Yonkers Tribune article. But is Mark Fang just another pawn, right? Is he just another pawn? Someone said he's a nice guy, but I said nice guys, we can't just vote for people because they're nice if they can't get anything done, if they're just going to be pawns, right, and puppets, and they're just going to be used for someone else. It's just a proxy, right? They're just there to do as someone tells them, the powers that be. So is he going to be controlled by a much more powerful individual? The people in District 15, what kind of a representative do you guys want? And this is why I say that. If he may be a nice guy, but if he is not in control of the seat, if he's not going to be an independent individual, if he's going to be controlled by someone else, is that the person you want to vote for? Right? All those people at District 15. So that's something you have to, decide. Nolan, at least, and some people may not like this comment, wants to do the right thing. And I think that's another reason why they want to get rid of Nolan, because he's somewhat of a rebel, right? To them anyway. He wants to do the right thing oftentimes. He sends letters to the state. He'll send letters to DC, for various reasons. Recently, he sent one in regards to zoning changes that were going to be enacted, right? And he didn't agree with them. So the Yonkers Democratic Party, in my strong opinion, no longer is working for the Democratic voters or the people in general. The party is very agenda-driven and serves the desires of the people at the helm, or at least by proxy. Like the Democratic Party, the 15th district legislative seat will also be controlled by proxy. And that's just what I believe. Mark Fang, a little bit about him. His legal career began as the ADA in Westchester. He was the first Asian, according to the Tribune, to hold that position. So I sense some identity politics going on here. And we know that Zahi Jeris of Precision Strategies, a political consulting company, is known for using that tactics, identity politics. That's what he does. Did it with Lakeisha Collins Bellamy in order to get Mike Cater out, his own cousin, his own blood. And so he, and they were considering actually running a Latina or Latino for mayor. But I guess Mike Spano, was going to do another 4 years. But they really wanted someone Hispanic to run against Chris Johnson. And they even, proposed the idea to me. They said, "Hey, Freddy Vazquez, when I met with Zahi and Vinny, you should run for county legislator." And I got the text and video, actually, and audio of that, but that is going to be for the case that I have going on with Mr. Zahi Jarris. But the point that I'm saying that is they seek to control people. They seek to control these different seats, right? District 15, they want to control that. And that someone have control of that now through Nolan. But again, he's a rebel. And I don't think they like that letter in regards to the zoning changes, because that's all about the developers. So they need someone that will just do whatever it is that they say without questioning, won't be a rebel, won't send these random letters, to the state or to the feds, about anything. I know. Nolan sold out 1 month into office and is a Spano puppet, and we don't need that. But what I'm saying is that, who isn't going to be a Spano puppet, right? And that's the issue we have. And so I don't know if Mark Fang would be much different, and I think he'd be even more, right? And maybe Nolan, if reelected, will realize that they try to play him. They try to be done with him. They used him. They said, okay, we're done with you. Now let's get Mark Fang in there. And he'll decide not to be a Spano, puppet or loyalist anymore, right? And he'll be more independent and truly represent the people and be strong-minded in that sense. So who knows? Maybe this would be a wake-up call for him, right? So again, we have to, really vet the people that we're going to vote for, see who they, who is behind them. Are they going to be independent individuals? Because this matters. This really matters. Someone like Zahi Jarris is very involved in city court judges. He's been behind Ada Medina, Karen Beltran, I'm hearing. And how does that impact the people? Well, eventually these city court judges go on to the Supreme Court up into White Plains. And then we have cases like C.J. Hackett case. And then you have a judge there that doesn't want to raise the bail. You have an ADA that doesn't push hard enough. That's just kind of settling, saying, well, he's probably going to get 2.5 years, right? So we need to get this corruption out and need to get individuals that are controlled out and get independent individuals there that want to really do the right thing and that will do that. So I'm not sure. What do what's your suggestion there, Will, in terms of someone else for District 15? Do you think Mark Fang is the answer? I'm not sure if that's the case, right? So let's look at the article here. Got a lot of things to say here. This is a Tribune article. Mark Fang had today, this is the 16th, announced his candidacy for Westchester County Legislator in the newly drawn 15th district, which includes parts of Yonkers, Mount Vernon, Eastchester, along with the village of Bronxville, as I mentioned. Fang is a Yonkers Democratic District leader. So he's very tied into the Yonkers Democratic Committee, which, again, in my opinion, is, compromised. It's been taken over. It no longer works for the Democrats here in the city. The former head of the Westchester County's Human Rights Commission and thereafter its Consumer Protection Department, a practicing attorney, has served Westchester County at the beginning of his legal career as an assistant district attorney, the first Asian American to hold a position in Westchester County. He later served as an assistant attorney general in the criminal division of the Office of New York State Attorney General. Maybe he'll come in here and bust up some corruption. How about that, Mark? Maybe. He's a veteran, has served during our nation's war on terrorism with the 10th Mountain Division. He presently serves in the United States Army Reserve, assigned to the 353rd Capcom, based out in Fort Wadsworth, Staten Island, holding the rank of lieutenant colonel. I'm proud to announce my candidacy for Westchester County Legislator. I am ready to hit the ground running on day one and deliver the people of the district. And right, candidate Mark Fang advised, I'm excited to spend the coming months speaking with the voters of the district and humbly ask them for their support to serve them as county legislator. After many years of public service and being involved in the community, Mark Fang will seek the Democratic nomination for county legislator. So where has he been involved in the community? I'm just really asking, right? Because, they make general statements and generalize. I just learned that. Why didn't I know that before? We don't have a good group of running for that. A good group. Yeah. Jimmy is a nice guy too. Right. He's a nice guy too. I believe I've have many conversations with Jim Nolan. I think he's a good guy also and has a heart. His biggest obstacle is his mom. How so? Sooner or later, things will come out and be an issue for Jimmy. Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here on Basement Politics, and maybe when that comes out, you'll hear it first here on Basement Politics as well. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but there's a lot going on here in the city of Yonkers. There's a lot of things going on with our elected officials. You know, the corruption and nepotism here is just outrageous. Mark Fang, and these are comments from people here in the city of Yonkers. Mark Fang is an embarrassment. He ignores the issues of the constituents. He have dealt with that personally. Yeah, and the head of the Human Rights Commission, which Hector Santiago is a commissioner, a member of. No one came out for him. I didn't hear anyone supporting him from that committee. Nothing from Mark Fang. That right there drew red flags for me immediately. I want to go to some of the comments people are saying here on the Tribune. Mark will lose because there aren't many Asians in Yonkers. I believe he would have a better chance in the borough of Queens or Brooklyn. Well, a lot of people from Brooklyn are moving here. Maybe that's not true. Mark Fang will trounce Ruthie in the primary. Mark Fang is the first Asian American to seek elected office in Yonkers. Yonkers Democrats are a party of inclusion. Mark continues to serve our country in the armed forces. He's a true Democratic patriot. And I can only imagine who put that comment up. I'm sure it was someone on Team Fang. Yonkers doesn't want a socialist like Ruth representing them. Yonkers is pro-law enforcement. Ruth is for defunding the police. I'm not so sure. I think they really have spun that defund the police, although it doesn't sound too good, folks. We need our police officers, but how much do we spend on police, right? And that's been another question. Nolan and Walters just lost the election. At least Nolan has his patronage job on the garbage truck. Maybe next year Nolan can become president of the Hitler Youth. Oh, really? Interesting. Do you honestly think the Astorino carpetbagger who has lost before and racist Ruth can come close to Nolan? Get a grip of things. Nolan is the future and the socialists are done. Nolan is a Spano Democrat. Well, I don't know if Mark Fang is much different. Nolan is a Republican Spano Democrat. Mark Fang is a Democrat Spano Democrat. The black community, in this comment right here, I did not appreciate. The black community will not support Ruth. And then someone says the black community is inconsequential. They don't vote and aren't enough to matter. And so this should infuriate many blacks here in the city of Yonkers. And this is why you need to go out and vote. We do vote, someone says. Check the data. Vote and we will vote. Mark will do well. Like everyone else, he was a Republican until he wasn't. Nolan is getting too big for his shoes and Nick can't have that. Tasha will be next. And it's exactly what I've been saying. Exactly what I've been saying about Tasha Diaz. Exactly what I've been saying about James Nolan. Why I think they want him out. Because he genuinely, truly wants to do the right thing. But his hands are tied. So he has to balance this trying to do the right thing and also trying to appease the Spano administration and the powers that be that got him elected. This is why we have to end this. Because actually it affects many elected officials here, many different seats, county and city. And we don't get a fair shake at things, It's not okay. Hey, Wang, it's just a parking lot. What? There goes the racism here. I'm telling you, there's still some racism here in the city of Yonkers, man. Where we hear Jeff Sage will primary Nolan for the Republican line. Okay. Jeff Sage, did he get his tooth back? What a joke Jeff is. Even worse than those already running. God help us. Yes, God help us. No one decent or qualified wants to run against these incompetents. This is very true, folks. Very true. And it seems like people just looking for someone who can win. But that could set us up for future problems. And I'll get into that with Corazon in a minute. That can set us up for future problems. Yonkers rejected Zeldin in 22. They'll reject Nolan in 2023. Ruth Walters, the lowest performing Democrat to ever run in Yonkers. She has ran 3 times and lost twice and barely won once. Ruth should consider running for Amy Paulin's seat, and Amy Paulin should run for Westchester County Executive. I don't know if Mike wants to hear that. Many people are tired of Jenkins. It's a newly drawn district. Ruth may do better. And that's going to be another interesting thing. How will this affect the elections coming up, the newly drawn districts? What impact will that have? Jenkins is deputy county kiss ass. Latimer was a fool to make you deputy after he shackled you in the primary. Will Z still support Fang after the primaries? Interesting. Will Z still support him? When they say Z, they're referring to Zahi Jerris. The 2-time convicted felon went to jail for 4 years for political corruption, extortion, bribery. And he got a Yonkers City Council member sent to jail for 6 years. You got her to change her vote on a real estate deal, a la Tasha Diaz. Will Z still support Fang after he primaries Ruth? Right, because Z is supporting Fang. Are they going to actually take out Nolan? Do they even care which lemon they have in the seat ahead of Spanos run for executive? See, there we go. Alvarado in 17th. They good there. The Spano know they're good there with Alvarado in the 17th. William in the 16th if she takes out Johnson. And Fang Nolan in the 15th. It's the beginning of the takeover. To you Westchester County Democratic Party, beware. Beware. Why don't you guys reach out to me? Really want to make things happen? Or are we going to continue doing the same thing, hoping for a different result this year? That's insanity. Nolan sounds like he's brain dead. Come on, guys. Oh, woke is. I've been involved in Yonkers politics for over 15 years. It always makes me laugh that the same two pathetic losers on here conversate amongst one another. Nolan is DOA. Folks, that's just what some of the comments are. Again, they're anonymous. I'd imagine that some of these individuals that are making comments are these political operatives that create fake accounts, go after people, attack people who oppose the administration, anyone that's tied to Zahi Jerris or the Spanos. That's how politics works here in the city of Yonkers. Just how it is, right? So anyway, who will replace the mayor? Who will replace the mayor? Let's move on. Who will replace the mayor? Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to read this Yonkers Ledger. You guys been checking out the Yonkers Ledger? James Nolan runs for re-election to the Board of Legislators. James Nolan of Yonkers has announced his intent to run for re-election to the District 15 seat of Westchester County Board of Elections. Nolan won his first term in 2021 by defeating incumbent Bronxville resident Ruth Walter. At the time, many saw this as an upset victory. Nolan, ardent campaigning and core support from the Spano wing of the Republican Party has since been credited for his achievement. And that Spano wing of the Republican Party consists of Justin Tubiolo, Mike Breen, right? And I think, who else? What's the guy's name? Not John Murtaugh. Not John Murtaugh. I can't think of the other guy's name. I'll think about it in a second. Anyway, during the first term as legislator, Nolan went with the pack on most issues, but has stood out in the face of a Democratic supermajority on a few. Undoubtedly, his biggest win was his opposition to the proposed menthol cigarette ban. The ban passed the board's vote, but was later vetoed by County Executive George Latimer. Also, we can still smoke Newports. Nolan may face a tougher race this year than he even did in 2021. The county legislator maps have since been redistricted, and Nolan has lost some of the highest performing precincts. And that was done, again, on purpose. He lost some of his highest performing precincts. Nevertheless, no Democratic challenger has yet to announce. Ruth Walter is an obvious guest to go round two with Nolan, but speculation that the Spano-affiliated Mark Fang may seek the Democratic Party's nomination to prevent Walters from reassuming that county seat, which she has. So they're hedging their bet with Mark. And as that comment said, it doesn't matter if it's Mark or James Nolan. They prefer Mark, but they're hedging their bet. They're going to primary or put Mark in the Democratic primary in the event Ruth Walters, and has she announced, enters. And then we got, James Nolan, and they'll go at it. And may the best person wins. We still got someone that is going to do as we say. Everyone in the city has ties to the puppet masters. Is there anyone who is not under control? Not me, as you know already. Definitely not me. Okay, let's move on. Corazon Pineda has announced that she will be running for mayor. But is this real? Is this real? I don't believe it. I don't believe it's real. I don't believe she truly wants to. I mean, look, if it happens, I'm sure she'd be happy. But I think she's made a deal. This is just my opinion. Let's talk about it, right? Of course, it'll be someone that the Spanos have faith that they can control, like John Rubo or Corazon Pineda Isaac. But are they being teed up to replace the mayor some years down the line and not, now? Corazon just running to split the vote. That's what I think. I think she's running to split the vote, take away votes from Margaret Coleman, Reverend Margaret Coleman, right? Woman of color. She's a woman of color. That's going to cause problems for Margaret Coleman. Corazon doesn't care because, again, I don't think she truly, is running to win. I think it's part of the Spano plan, right? That's what I just believe. The Spano could care less who it is down the line, but it will be the one who will work the BS vote to BS voters the hardest. Sure, Corazon announced she intends on running against the mayor, but whose money is it? That's one, because someone said, well, Freddie, why would she spend all that money to not want to win? Well, whose money is it? She has nothing to lose, but everything to gain. It's not coming out of her pocket. Her role is to cause anyone, especially a woman like Reverend Coleman or a Latina, from doing well against Spano in the primaries. For that, she could be made deputy mayor and then mayor through appointment, right? Maybe that's the strategy. That's the plan. Think about it. Why would she run against Spano? No one else in politics that's elected is running except Moranti, right? But everyone else, well, so far as a newcomer, everyone else who's in politics said, I'm not going to run against Spano because they were scared to. They didn't want to spend their money. They didn't think that they could win. So why would Corazon do that after she's had such a strong connection and ties to the Spano, right? It's a beautiful strategy which seeks to keep Spano in office while raising money for his handlers, right? If she goes out and she raises money for this mayoral election, it's going to be more money that they have in their war chest. Sorry, and so either way, it's a win for them. She loses, they still raise money that they can utilize that'll be in her campaign account, right? So it's a good strategy. We hear she's using Senator Andrew Stewart Cousins, strategist. I'm sure her backer is Christopher Johnson, right? But is she being true to County Legislator Johnson? Is she being true to him? Sure, she has mayoral ambitions, but what strategy or route is she going to take to get there? She isn't used to not having the Spano support. Why would she burn that bridge? Why would those besides Christopher Johnson want to go against the Spanos? Christopher Johnson, obviously, and the Spanos have not gotten along, so of course he doesn't care, right? He's gonna go to war with him. But why would Corazon? Think about it. I hope some of the Hispanic elites haven't made deals with the Spanos. We know it's not about the Hispanics, but using that fact to gain power, right? Making deals. What the Hispanics, let me just stop right there. I want to talk about this. She has this infrastructure, he's saying, this democratic infrastructure, why they feel that she can do it. She has this support. A lot of that is from these organizations, these Hispanic organizations. But I question, why they would support Corazon. Have they fully vetted her? She's so tied to the Spano. I can't imagine that she's truly going against the Spano. And another thing she did that bothered me is that she supported that park. The city just spent $13 million to buy the land where a bus depot currently is located. And they're going to have to leave now, this bus depot. They have to move. Whatever. They're done. That's going to cause, I heard over 100. I also heard 300. So anywhere from 100 to 300 jobs to be lost, mostly Hispanics. And she knew about this. Yet and still she supported it. Never once mentioning anything about the people that were going to lose their jobs. At a time when we need jobs, when people need jobs, right? Especially with these luxury developments bringing the cost of living up, how are you going to support the building of a park which will force the loss of at least 100 to possibly 300 jobs from mostly Hispanic employees for a park that they're going to name Leonard Spano Park, the father of the mayor, which is right across from their property at 132 Fernbrook, right? So, to the Hispanic organizations supporting her, how can you support her? Why don't you find another Latino or Latina? That's what you guys should have done. Should have been working this entire time to find a credible, more viable candidate. Instead of going with Corazon Pineda. Do you guys know what she's done in Odine Hill? Have you seen that area? She's focused mostly in the Ludlow Park because of all the developments going on there. And she's with that. She doesn't care what impact that has. There's a lot of warehouses and stuff back there that are going to be having to close down, aside from the bus depot, that provide jobs to people. But they don't care about that. Corazon has support throughout the city. Many people in the east side of Yonkers are sick and tired of the Spano lies. Absolutely. But are you really getting rid of the Spanos? Are they hedging their bet? You understand what I'm saying? They're hedging their bets. In the event Spano doesn't win, the lawsuit blocks him from running, they need someone they can control. I mean, it's I see it. That's just my opinion. Susan O'Connor, well, we hope history repeats itself. Remember what happened when Cuomo named the bridge after his dad? He was in line to be next president. He pissed the wrong person. Spano was close from what I hear. Yeah, it's time we vote someone different. But again, we'll see what happens. Petitions season starts February 28th, in the next week or something like that. The bus depot jobs are not being lost. They're going to NYC where they belong, working on buses. I've heard people are telling me they're going to go. Jobs are going to be lost. Is that maybe someone else heard that also, that they're not going to be lost? They're going to be moving to NYC. I heard that they were, trying to fight that. They didn't want that to happen. Right. So let's look at the comments. Oh, she got one comment. Someone said, what was the announcement? She had her announcement party at Julio's, where I hear she had a decent turnout. They said about 100 people. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I just think that, listen, before, I wasn't down with them, with the crew. Black and Hispanic organizers need to organize and decide which non-Spano Democrat they're going to support in the primary. Don't forget, the Spanos are dinos. So if Corazon is just running at their direction, then she is no real Democrat either. Remember, she wasn't fully supporting the affordable housing ordinance, right? Although she did vote yes for it, but she was always saying, 15%. She basically was repeating the mayor's message. The mayor was initially saying, I can support something around 15%. Right, but I can't do 20. He was always saying no for 20. She was saying the same thing around 15. Then she changed her mind. She went with the 20. But the mayor vetoed that. And then Tasha Diaz, flip-flop. And so she never, fully supported the housing. We need that. It's a housing crisis. She has not done anything in terms of assuring that there's another one in place, and another one in place sooner than later. I mean, the buildings are going up, and once they go up, it'll be too late. And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're delaying it purposely. And so she's a part of that. Right? I want to see the person I want to see mayor to take out Spano is someone that says, this is, no, we're going to fight for the people, not the developers. That's not who we're fighting for. It's not who I represent. And we need a housing ordinance. We need jobs. Where are the jobs that were promised? We need to clean up our community, our neighborhoods. We need programs that are actually producing real results. And it's not just for show. I mean, Corazon, hasn't really paid much attention to No Dine Hill. So I'm wondering, how will she be as mayor? If you go to No Dine Hill, it's horrible. The streets, dirty. There's abandoned, zombie homes, as they call them. The boarding up is not even done properly. Kids could get snatched up and taken inside of these zombie homes on Elm Street. It's a nightmare on Elm Street, for real. There are fire hydrants that weren't working. Nobody knows who their representative is. I was talking to some business owner there. They don't know. They don't see them around. They're telling me how their family has come to visit. They've been robbed. Robbed just going from the car to the apartment building. People have been shot. Kids even, a 6-year-old couple years back was hit by a stray bullet. Remember the 4 guys standing in the corner that were hit? The police officer that was shot in the bodega? And it's still crazy up there. Right? So, I mean, what really qualifies Corazon? We've seen what she's done and hasn't done. And so I don't understand, why is it that, there wasn't another candidate that maybe these organizations that are supporting her, maybe like Indivisible and the Hispanic Democrats, or Westchester and whatever other place, can come up and what do you call it? Find a new candidate and start to groom that person. Start to prepare that person to run against Spano, rather than choosing to support and back someone that we, for the most part, know has been a part of the problem. And so is it just identity politics, really? Is that what we're doing here? Freddy, watch the petitions. The fraud is in our faces. Foiled then from the Board of Elections. And what do you mean a little bit by that? What do you mean, I should say, specifically by that? Watch the petitions. Corazon is good with the petitions, right? Because they have these buildings where, they bring the food to the people. They send people up to the Board of Elections to get the petitions, because I can go up there, get my ballot, not petitions, ballot, get my ballot, and then I can grab 4 other ballots, right? So they'll send people up there. Let's say they send 100 folks. That's 500 ballots, right? So you have these different buildings, right, that they bring food to. They know the tenant association, the head of the tenant association, a lot of senior buildings. And so they bring the food, and the seniors, they all like, oh, they're so great, right? They don't know everything else. For them, it's just all about that bag of food that they bring them, right? And that's what they need. I get it, but then they make these decisions based on just that. And it's a bigger impact than just that, right? And so they're just happy to sign off. Here, oh, we got your ballot and a bag of food. You don't mind signing for me? Oh, of course. Right? So that's part of their hustle, and how they get these votes. And then they ballot harvest, right? They hold on to them. They watch on election night. They're in a room over there in the Castle Royale to the side. Vinny, Zahi, Nick, and what we gonna do? Who's winning? You got to add more ballots. Why does it have to be Democrat? We need to forget voting for a party and vote for a candidate. I agree. It doesn't have to be a Democrat. And I'm just talking about the primaries, but it doesn't have to be a Democrat. In a general election, you can vote for the best candidate, So, get 2 chances, I guess, at taking out Spano. A single city council member can't get anything done in their district without the mayor signing off on it. Don't blame Corazon for the shit on No Dine Hill the same way you can't blame Rubo for the problems in the 4th. But how do you say that, though? How can you say that? Like, how can you say don't blame them if that is their responsibility? I don't understand that. City council is useless under the strong mayor. And so then, okay, so then why not say that then? Why not say, hey, I'm trying to get things done, but the mayor doesn't want to get things done. He keeps blocking me at every step. We have to say that. Why not? It has to be Democrat. Why do you think Spano became a Democrat? Well, yeah, because the numbers, and you think you're referring to Mo Monet, the numbers of Democratic voters is a lot larger. There's more Democrats here, so switched over parties. But I think in the climate that we in, people are really starting to get tired of Democrats. As people are getting tired of the Republicans, and they're just like, listen, party doesn't mean nothing anymore, because both parties have let us down for the most part. Both parties are self-serving. We've seen that. So people are just fed up. And I've heard Republicans say they're not going to be voting Republican. They're tired of that. Democrats, the same thing. I want to vote Republican. So, again, vote for the person, not for the party. But you're going to still get a lot of people that do that. They're just Democrat. They're going to vote Democrat regardless who it is, right? And a lot of people are not confident, right? And this concerns me, because a lot of people are not confident that Spano's going to lose. So if they're not confident, will they come out to vote? Are they going to say, what, I'm not even going to go out to vote. Spano's going to win. There's no one really there that's going to beat him. Because I'm getting that a lot. That's really what I'm getting. They're not confident that anyone that's in the race now is going to beat Spano. And so I hope that doesn't discourage people from coming out to vote. We need a larger voter turnout this year in the city of Yonkers on election day. Yeah, we do. And again, but as I was just saying, many people are, they're not confident that anyone, in the race now is going to be able to beat Spano. And so again, is that going to discourage them from coming out to vote? They're going to say, what's the point? Why go and vote? Spano's going to win. There's no candidate that could beat him in the race. you know. So I just hope that that's not the case, but that's kind of the consensus that I'm getting from people who are you know, talking to me about the mayoral race. They just don't see it. They just don't see it. You know, they don't just, and I don't either. I'll be honest. I just don't see it. I don't see it. You know, I don't see either people are just going to vote for Spano or people are just not going to come out and say, you know what, it's not going to vote. These guys got it unlocked. The Spano's going to rule forever. It is what it is. And, you know, but that's why we need a real, you know, like movement to get behind one person. And we need to come out with this movement. I bought me a bullhorn, by the way. That's right, man. I'm going to be making some noise out there. I bought me an all black bullhorn on Amazon. Pay like $60 for it. I hope that's a good one, right? I don't know how much these things cost. They want to spend too much money. Still come out and vote and make a choice no matter what. That's right. So I'm going to be out there with my bullhorn. You know, we're going to start to rally. I just hope you guys join me. Don't have me out there by myself. But as soon as I get my bullhorn, we're going to be out there. I'm going to be out there. Hopefully you guys will join me. And I'll let you know. I'm going to be out there, you know, calling people to vote, encouraging people to vote, also calling on justice for those who are seeking justice currently, right? So I'm out there. I'm going to start rallying. We got to start making noise. If we don't come out and make this noise and really go hard this election season, we're not going to get the change we want. It's not going to happen. You know, we have to do differently. We have to do things differently. Have to come out. We have to rally. We have to rally against corruption. I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't tell them, right? They're going to be having police all on me. No, but I'm going to say, hey, corruption and the nepotism here in the city of Yonkers. We have to come out and rally and make some serious noise. It's amazing how Spano's mistress is not a bigger deal. Spano and Calvi live separate lives. Why doesn't the truth come out? He is selling people Camelot. That was a lie. Well, now that you brought it up, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I hear that Mary Calvi actually lives in the city. They don't live together. He lives here in Yonkers by himself. It's just for show, you know, obviously to keep the image going, the perception, so that way it looked good for politics, right? And you know, I've heard about the mistress. You know, should I say her name? Why don't you say her name? I don't. You know, I've heard about it. She works for the city, makes pretty good money. I heard that she was in Florida not too long ago with the mayor. You know, I don't know. Do people care about that? It's up to the people. Denise, oh yeah, Denise, that's right, Denise. Nepotism there too. There's a lot of, you know, 75% of the people who vote are stupid and just vote party line, whether it's Democrat or Republican. So voter registration determines the outcome once party registration exceeds 60%. That's true. In such cases, the party with the 60% voter registration wins every time. Always has, always has been, always will be. Yeah, you know, I guess that's true. I mean, you know, you do have your from time to time, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just the statistics, right? It's just the way it is. And so because there's so many Democrats and so many people do just, I'm a Democrat, I'm voting Democrat, you know, that just automatically means that we, you know, mostly get a Democrat many times. So, you know, fortunately, his chief of staff, Denise, that's the mistress. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've been hearing that. And, you know, this is what I you know, I always said I never wanted to put this stuff out there like mistress and stuff like that. And, you know, some guy called me, you know, a male private part not too long ago, 2 days ago, because I shared the text with Vinny Spano. But, you know, I have yet to hear people, or, you know, not any, really, but just anyone really say about how much they are for what they did to my family, right? What they did try to do to my business and my family, you know, and that was really low. And so the reason why I put that out there is because we got to end this. I wanted you to see who these individuals really are. He's not a source. He's not a credible source or reliable source. I wanted to see how they have this infighting, how he'll put information out on people like Tasha Diaz and Wilson Kimball and others, and the relationship between him and Corazon. And I don't mean necessarily a sexual one. I don't know. There's been rumors of that as well, but I don't know if that's true or not. I heard that Tasha Diaz just put those rumors out because she was upset about something. That could be very well true, right? So I'm not saying that happened now, but I know I've seen, you know, in times that I've been to these events, just the flirtiness, right? The you know, that will concern me if I'm going to vote. I don't know if I'm going to vote for this person if she's all up like that, you know, I'm Mr. Spano here, right? I mean, I'm just saying that's just too much. It's just too close. And what I'm looking for is a mayor that's, no, I'm not, these are not my friends. These are the corruption. This is the nepotism. This is the problem. And this is what has to go. And that's what we're looking for, I think, in order to really gain what it is we're looking to gain here. Seriously, she used to babysit for him. How old was she when the affair started? She worked for him when he was in the assembly. I don't know. That I don't know. Maybe somebody could email me, politicwithfred@gmail.com. But yeah, I don't know. Do people care if the mayor has an affair or had an affair, is having an affair? Does that affect, whether or not you'll vote for him? Hispanics need to start voting in numbers like African Americans. Absolutely. And that's been something that, Hispanic leaders here have said and have been off some, I've spoken to, have been upset about that because they feel that blacks get more here in the city of Yonkers than Hispanics do. And Hispanics are a larger population size. They're about 43% versus blacks, we're about 19, somewhere 16 to 19%. But blacks, are more politically involved, right? And they come out and they speak out. They have a strong voice. And so, a lot of times Hispanics, they come here, the old generations, and even people coming here now, they don't want to create too much noise. And also, they're not able to vote. They're not able to register. They're Hispanics that have, they don't have their documents, so they can't vote. And so they don't vote. But oftentimes too, also, they just want to go to work, pay their bills. They don't want to make noise. And that's kind of one reason what keeps them from coming out. But we need to come out. Hispanics need to come out because we have a lot of skin in the game. The Yonkers Public School has over 60% Hispanics. That's the student body is over 60% Hispanic. And so we need to have influence so we can really fix up these schools because that's important. Fixing up and having a strong, quality school system here, school district, would impact a lot of areas from crime, youth violence, gangs, economic, upward mobility, economic freedom, prosperity. People get educated, have a better education, have access to more things, more resources that can connect them with, something that'll turn into a career, right? And then you'll see people breaking the cycle of poverty. So it really impacts a lot, right? And then we won't have these housing issues as much, right? Because more people are succeeding, making more money, being able to afford things. So, it really starts with the education, starts with the youth. We can't focus so much on the adults now. We're older now, right? We're done. It's about the youth. And that's how we start to change the community. To me, that's more important. That's how you change a community, in a better way than just bringing in a bunch of developments, right? All that development going on is just going to serve to push people out, create, a bigger, a wider wealth gap, right? From people with money to people that are very poor. And we see that now. You have more people coming in with higher incomes, and you also see more homeless people, and they're right side by side. It's like New York City is. You have billionaires, millionaires, multimillionaires coming out of their, doorman buildings on, Park Avenue or wherever, and then you have a homeless man there, panhandling. And we're seeing that here in the city of Yonkers because there's not much for those that don't have. So they're just getting pushed out, having to deal with, whatever the consequences are of these luxury developments coming in and higher income earners, right? Gentrification, I guess. Right. When there are Hispanics in the ballot, then Hispanics come out to vote. Corazon is going to crush Spano and Coleman. Bet on it. Listen, I don't, I wish the best of luck. I just, no, I'm not. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. Listen, how often have I mentioned Corazon in my podcast? Let's be honest. It was to the point where, people was like, oh, you don't speak about Corazon because she's a Latina woman. I was getting that, right? So I don't hate on Corazon. I'm discussing her now because she's in the race. I mean, she's announced to be the mayor. Don't be a hater, Freddy. Get on Corazon. I don't get on bandwagon. That's always been my thing. Maybe that's the reason why. Right? I'm not a big bandwagon guy. I don't know. Melvin Corazon is here to cancel out Coleman. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. That's what she's here to do, Melvin. I'm telling you. The Spanos can't trust her and control. Also, where does she live? Where does she live? But the Spanos, are not gonna allow for Corazon to win and be independent. Of course, they're gonna control her. They've promised her stuff. Remember, her family is working for the city also. I guess if she wins, she can control whether or not, I don't know. But, so she has a lot. she has a lot, riding, on things. So if she goes against Hispano, that's a big gamble that she's taking. So it's not, I don't hate on her. I just think that she's in there to simply split the vote and keep, Coleman or any other person that enters, especially a Latina, especially a woman, from doing well against Spano. And I think she may become mayor one day, or she thinks she may become mayor one day. She'll say, hey, listen, maybe I won't run and try to beat Spano. I'll just be part of the plan. When Spano's ready to go to executive, right, county executive, maybe before his term is up, she'll be deputy mayor at that time. He'll appoint her to be mayor, and then she'll, go from there, right? I don't know. Split the vote. What vote? The female vote? Yeah, the vote, the votes that are going to go to anyone that's not Spano, right? That you have Spano, you have Corazon, you have Coleman, right? And then you have Prince. Don't forget, we can't forget Prince. We have Prince, right? So you have people that are going to vote for Spano, and then you're going to have other people that don't want to vote for Spano, but they're going to say, should I vote for Corazon? Yeah, I'm going to vote for her. The other people, I like Coleman, they're going to vote for her. So that's going to, take away votes. That's going to reduce the amount of total votes that each one of them get that could push them over, the hump to beat Spano. I'm just saying. The Hispanic vote in Yonkers is the vote if they vote. No, I've been saying that, and you know that if you've been watching. I've said that from day one. If the Hispanics, but again, how many Hispanics can actually vote? How many out of that 43% population here in the city of Yonkers can actually vote, are documented, are registered, also old enough to vote? So it really cuts down a lot of that, that population, to actual voters. So, and listen, at the end of the day, too, Hispanics, not all Hispanics we're not stupid, right? We're not, so we're going to see that certain individuals ain't do nothing for the Hispanics. They try to play on the Hispanic thing, but they don't do nothing for Hispanics. They go around in a float for the three kings, looking like some crazies, right? That's it. What have they really done for Hispanics here in the city of Yonkers? That's a joke, John. Corazon, Mike, and Shanae did nothing to expose or challenge him. Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what concerns me. You guys were there. You know what's going on. Why didn't you speak up? All this time, you're allowing for just the city to get crapped on, especially your people, your constituents, and you don't speak up. Now you're going to speak up when you want to be mayor? That just doesn't look right, right? It just doesn't look right. The 5 Dems on council and Hispanic and blacks are being underserved. Exactly. You had a Democratic majority, right? 4 minority women, 4 women of color, no housing ordinance when that's a huge need for the minority population here in the city of Yonkers. Nothing for education, no improvement. I don't care what they say about those graduation rates. Remember, folks, the pandemic took out the regents. Things were a little different. So yeah, let's see how the graduation rate is going to look now moving forward. I bet that's going to be a lot different. But Mike Spano's hoping that he's already elected by that time. So that's a bunch of nonsense. That's a bunch of hogwash. There's a lot that's needed in their schools, which serves 63% Hispanics. What did they do for them? Everything they've done has been for Spano. Everything that Spano's wanted. Everything. Vote. Yes. 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. Except now that she's wanted to run for mayor, then she challenged. And then to me, when she talks, sometimes she has these great speeches sometimes. And then other times it's just she's like struggling. So it's almost like those times when she has those great speeches, that's a choreographed event. That's a choreographed meeting. And someone prepared that speech for her. That's just my opinion. But look, again, we can see, you're right. We'll see. We'll definitely see. 2 more white Dems haven't announced yet, but are running, and they will split the white vote. We'll see. 1 male, 1 female. She was majority leader, but Rubo is in charge of real estate. Yeah. Majority whip, Rubo, the whip. Melvin, even if Spano was to lose the primary, which he certainly won't, he will just run on another line. The mayoral primary will be a 8-way race, and it will be Corazon's race to lose. The graduate rate is a lie. I agree. Pathetic. Our children are not the priority. 1,000%. And that is what I would be focused on as mayor. And that's what I would be primarily talking about. But first, we must get out the corruption. We must get out the nepotism in order to be able to improve our school district. That's the first thing we have to do. Remove this corrupt government that's in place, remove certain individuals, right? Not at the top, not everybody. I don't care if you got a job because of nepotism. You would stay, whatever. But the top got to go in order to truly make a difference. That school board of trustees, I'm just saying, and I would like to see a school board of trustees where the people are elected. That's important. But definitely the schools should be a priority. That would be my priority number one. We are focused on schools. That is number one. Because if we had a school district, a good school district, we would bring in certain individuals here automatically. We wouldn't have to bring in these luxury apartments, right? And they obviously don't want to bring in families because they're building one studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms. But if we had a great school district where families can say, hey, Yonkers has a great school district, we're going to go there. It's going to be worth paying the taxes that we pay. We're going to take care of our community because we love it here, right? It would make Yonkers much different, and we wouldn't need all this overdevelopment. So it starts with the schools. Important. What line? Working families won't have him. Conservatives line won't have him. He'll have to create a new line. Yeah, that's true. Exactly, for her to lose. It's a battle line, you see. Pretty easy to make another line. I'm going to run on the Freddy line, the number 1 line, the 6th line. Anyone but Spano party. Independence party. I don't know if can the Independence run. What about Corazon double dipping? Lots of double dippers. Johnson, Alvarado, Nolan. It's illegal for Nolan and Alvarado because the hours conflict with their Yonkers jobs. I always wondered that. Did they take time off? Are they off the clock? Did they punch out when they go to these events and these meetings or whatever during the day? Or do they just hang on the back of trucks to attend the meeting? Just joking, man. I just thought that was funny. I thought that was funny, man. Freddy, you should run too. You'll only need 18% of the vote to win the damn line. Will you guys vote for me? I might run. Who knows? They're more Independence Party. Well, we'll see what tomorrow will bring. The average age of school building is over 80. Yes. The oldest is 136 years old. That's right. And what do we get from these developers? Notice how the Spanos all logged on to the show. They texting each other. I don't know if that's the Spanos. Seniors and students are not a priority in this city. We need a mayor that puts them first. Yes, I will put them first. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you listening and watching. We must vet these candidates better, folks. Do we want change? Then we change the way we do things. Otherwise, we're going to get the same. It's part-time job in the city council. They're allowed to have second jobs. I guess. Freddy, there is your next podcast, Double Dipping Politicians. That's a good one. I appreciate the advice, the recommendation, whatever, the suggestion. There we go. I couldn't think of it. The suggestion. Email me, politicwithfred@gmail.com. Just give me a little bit of the details. I'll try looking up the rest. Give me the names of the individuals, and we'll go from there. And I'll definitely do a podcast there. Hector Santiago for Yonkers.com. Hector, who's your strategist? Don't tell me Precision Strategies. George Santos would be better than Spano. Love the communion suit, Freddy. Looking sharp today. Thank you. This was what did I wear this for? I forgot. I bought this for something where we had to wear all white. I forgot what it was. So I didn't want to do black today. I can't find my navy blue jacket. I have no idea where it went. I only wore it just to do these podcasts in my house. It disappeared. And then my gray suit starting to get holes in it. I don't know if that's moss. I got to get me the cedar closet, right? Melvin, you're annoying tonight. They cannot double dip. It's illegal. Alvarado has been in trouble for it before. Really? I was in trouble for other things too. His wife came up to me once because she said I accused him of doing cocaine, and I never said Alvarado did that. Can you go over P. Spano next time? Email me. What do you mean specifically? politicwithfred@gmail.com. The candidates that announce must raise a lot of cash and have a street of apparatus. If they don't, they can't win. So throw their support behind someone that has what it takes to fight. Johnny, I love you. I do. But you just want to beat Spano. That cannot be the strategy. I'm not saying that we don't want to beat Spano, right? But just getting someone to beat Spano cannot be the strategy. We want to actually do something. We want to actually make some stuff happen. That's what I'm saying. That's a Carlito Brigante suit. Oh, I took out my carry conceal. like hard. Got to, man. My safety is being jeopardized or put under. I don't know. They tried to scare me the other day. I don't know. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics with the white jacket and the blue tie. I wanted to wear a blue tie. I just didn't think this would go good with the black jacket. Well, anyway, I wanted to switch it up for you guys. Maybe I had to buy some more suits. I haven't really worn suits since my Wall Street days. I got my MBA in finance, and I went down to Wall Street and I bought these suits. Spent some money on them, and it was like a thing, at first, and then you get tired of putting the tie on, buttoning up all the shirt thing, cufflinks and all that. Some of the shirts have to have a cufflink. If I can't find it now to match, it was a pain in the subway and all that. So now I get to dress however I want. So I like that. So, maybe I'll be wearing more suits for some reason. No one will be Spano. He is mayor for life. That's probably true. Maybe. This is not about Spano. It's about who is real. But who you think is the best, John? Come on, who do you think? Who you think is the best choice? Who do you think is the best choice? Thank you for the great info and show, as always. Thank you, Momo. I appreciate you supporting and watching. Thank you for your input and your comments, as always. I appreciate it. John, who do you think would be the best mayor? Who? You're saying Corazon, Reverend Coleman, Prince? You put your support behind Prince. Why don't you help out with the apparatus, John? You have the resources, John. Why don't you help out? You know what you could have done, John, if I were you? I would have got a candidate, and I would have been out there with my candidate already. I would have set everything up, John. You could have been the man. Whoever has a street team cash and apparatus has a good shot. Yeah, but is it about a good shot, right? So, Spano has apparatus and money. So, do you want Spano to win? Just that's going to be the winner just because of that? Is that what you're cool with that, right? So, who do you think will be the best mayor? Who will really, do a good job here? We don't have many choices right now, right? You have Moranti, if you Republican, Prince, Corazon, Reverend Coleman, Mike Spano. John, you should have you can still do this. You can still do this. Put your resources. I can work with you. I'm telling you, you just don't want to listen to me, man. Don't want to listen to me. Listen, John, I may not have been in politics like you, John, but strategy is the same, right? It's all the same. Of course, you have to factor in variables that, you only find in politics, right? But you teach someone those variables, and then I've learned them. Strategy, John. Have a dope strategy, man. I wish you would listen to me. We could win. We could definitely win.
Freddy wins.
This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I love the city of Yonkers. Change. And this is the only opportunity I think that we're going to have. If nothing changes this year, I think that machine will only get stronger. They will learn from any mistakes they made, and they will see the new opposition like me and others who recently started speaking out, and they will figure out a plan to silence or try and silence this opposition for the next run, and they will be prepared. They're not going to give it up. This is their business. And until they're ready to retire, they're going to be in politics. That's just what it is. They sold him a dream. Yeah, they sold Nader Sage a dream. They did. And Zay, he tried to do his little things to throw jabs at the Spanos, but I don't think he realized it wasn't going to work. And he just said, you know what? I can't beat him. I'm just going to join him. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez. Have a beautiful night. John, let's go, man. Let's talk about it.
Freddy.
Let's talk about the plan.
Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for watching.
Freddy wins.
Folks, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. We need a strong guy out there, or woman, to run against Spano, and then we need to get everyone behind that person. Enough is enough. I'm going to get my bullhorn. I'm coming out to the streets. Join me.
Freddy wins.
In my opinion, it won't be your opinion.
Freddy wins. Fatality.